Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This is a fun one, and I don't know how this is going to go. This is like for my core fans, right? Hopefully you guys like this discussion. Contradiction. It's an obvious one that actually exists within the law of attraction, and I want to talk about it. Frankly, I like talking about this kind of stuff, but I will be honest, it does, I guess, require, I don't know, I've got an understanding, I guess, about life that maybe might not agree with everybody. I'm going to talk about it all, though. It's going to be a fun one. But we're talking about the obvious contradiction, which is, what if there's a situation in your life that, I don't know, for example, someone, just be extreme. Let's be hyperbolic right off the bat and just get crazy, and then we'll start honing into actual reality. And what really inspired this is a friend of mine. But let's start crazy and just say, all right, so I want to use my manifesting powers and make myself be able to fly. I want to be able to fly, like not with an airplane. Of course I can do that, which would be a technicality, and I would call someone out on that, by the way. If they said, I want to be able to fly, and I'd be like, well, you can. You just get on a plane, buy a plane ticket. It's very easy to do, and now you're flying. Look at that. It's amazing. You're flying. But you mean flap your wings or just push up and start flying away, right? Like, who doesn't want to do that? That would be so awesome. We would save a ton of money, right? It'd be kind of cool. But that being said, that's probably not possible, right? Now, all the diehards out there, all the people that are like, well, Neville Goddard said that all you got to do is flap 12 times. No, I don't think he did, and I'm, of course, joking. But someone's going to pull some crazy quote out of somewhere that says that we should be able to mind over matter, right? If we use enough of our brain. I get it. I'm not disagreeing per se, but I will say one of the challenges with creating illusions, essentially to others, because there is the thing called law of confusion. And it is true, and there's a thing called law of confusion. And so basically, here's the thing. If you were able to levitate, so maybe inside your house, by the way, and then we're just going to use a fun example, right? And this is, again, hyperbolic, but you're inside your house, and inside your house, you are truly able to levitate. You've seen it in a mirror. You got like this far off the ground. You totally did it. You pulled it off. It was like, holy crap. Oh my God, I'm floating up. And then you went down. You're like, oh my God, I did it for like 4 seconds, but I did it. Now you're like, I want to prove this to others. This is the second where the law of confusion comes into play, because no, you're not allowed. And the reason why is if I don't believe that's possible, if I don't believe it's possible at all that you can levitate, that would just, like, I would think the devil just stepped out of you, right? I'd be, I'm like, the devil's in you, right? Or maybe I'd even kill you thinking you're possessed, like the good old-fashioned days when people are like, she's a witch, burn her, right? Like, we did all sorts of crazy things in the past. Whenever anybody did anything remotely supernatural, we would instantly brand them something horrible and, kill them. Or, worse, we'd lock them up and try to make them do our biddings, right? So the problem is the second that you demonstrate that you can do something that's impossible, you mess up their entire reality. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. It's just not allowed, because some people aren't ready for that level of understanding of how the universe works. And until enough of us are on the same page or living in the same reality, until that happens, it's really hard for you to demonstrate to others these crazy notions. So hyperbolically flying, or maybe what if you have, people have talked about healing, and that's one that I think you can put energy towards. And I even talked about in my recent video how I think if you focus on it as healing, you're actually doing damage. But the one that actually sparks this, and not really being hyperbolic, and it's a friend of mine that is in a wheelchair, and he's paralyzed basically from the armpits down. And he's been in a chair for a long time. Got in a car crash, didn't do anything wrong himself, right? He got hit by someone else that was drunk, of course. And threw him through a windshield, and then he hit a chain link fence, and it like folded him in half and just snapped his spine. And ever since that happened, the way the spinal cord was damaged, it actually severed the cord, and there's really no way to fix that. It's not like the bones were separated, like it's one of those things where you can break something, but if you don't mess it badly, like your spinal cord or whatever doesn't break, I'm not a doctor, I'm just doing my best, but the spinal cord part doesn't actually break or sever or bruise or whatever, that you can actually break a bone in the back there, but not actually be completely paralyzed or ruined for life. Maybe it's something they can still fix if it's not totally severed and stuff, right? But in his case, yeah, bad skis. Not good at all. So he hates my channel because I talk about, you can make your life better. All you got to do is just flap your wings and whisper and wink, and you can have whatever you want. And he's like, no, you can't. I'm stuck in my chair, dude. All your little mojo ain't going to get me walking around again. And it really won't. It won't. Why? Why is that? That's really the question. Because law of attraction, I have no doubt in my mind, works. I think there's more to life. I've frequently talked about that. So to me, this is kind of where that starts to come into play. There are certain things I think that happen in our lives that we chose to happen in our lives for reasons. There's reasons why we've done things. This is a playground. This is the only place, like outside of perfection, right? Let's call heaven perfection, whatever, nirvana, whatever name you have for the place that is rad, right after life, whatever it is. Super cool place. It's groovy. Everything's awesome. Everybody flies. Everybody has money. Everybody's happy. Everybody, whatever. Unless you're in that bad place and you believe in that. I don't believe in that, but whatever. Whatever your place is. There's some place, though, that's out there. So the question is, why do we come here and do these things? Well, because here is not perfect. Here is full of imperfection, in fact. Here is one of the only places that you can lose yourself, that you can forget who you are, that you can be mean to people, that you can learn that it's horrible to be mean to people, that you can fall and hurt yourself, that you can, it is a really awesome playground where you can experiment and play and work on, soul development. And I believe, can't prove it, but I believe, and there's a lot of literature to suggest there's some truth to this, but again, no one knows what happens when we pass. Please, you can't know. I mean, you can be psychic, but that's not, again, law of confusion. No one's going to be like, yeah, okay, psychic person. Yeah, right. I'm going to believe you, please. Show me some documentation. Show me a handwritten letter from God that was somehow FedExed from heaven through one of those little vacuum chutes, bloop, right? And it goes down, and then it spits out of a drain gutter at my house, and then, because it's God, because you can do frilly things, right? And then, and this thing pops up in front of me, and I see the handwritten evidence from, God or Allah or whatever, right? And it's I don't see that happening. Probably it's not going to play out. It doesn't really work out that way. I think we do multiple lives because it gives us the opportunity to be different things, to understand things differently. People have talked about old souls, new souls. I'm going to cover that real quick because it's the same concept. The idea of an old soul versus a new soul is basically someone that's probably, again, just accept a little with me, roll with me a little bit. I've probably already lost a whole bunch of people. Who cares? But it's that second where you've had many, many, many lives. You've done this so many times. You just seem to have this sort of familiarity about you. You seem to have this. You've been with so many people on their soul journeys that you're recognizable. They don't know why, but their soul recognizes you. Their higher self's like, oh my God, my best friend, my good friend Dan. And it's like, hey, what's up, man? Right? And so there's this confidence, there's this comfort, there's this understanding, there's this broader knowledge that seems to come with that older soul concept. Things you just pick up on stuff tend to be a little quicker, tend to be a little more even keel, right? And then there's the newer souls that are a little more, hasn't been doing this for as long. And that really gets into a lot of factors. Let's just kind of leave it at that. But maybe they've, had a bunch of experiences versus, thousands, right? It's just different, right? So you've had bunches of experience. And you've probably been wealthy. You've probably been a man, probably been a woman, probably been good, probably been bad, probably been up, probably been down, probably been rich, probably been poor. And you might even choose to live a life as someone in a chair that's completely hampered by that. Maybe because you were mean to someone in a life and you felt like it would be good to understand that better from their perspective. So you're like, no, I'm gonna be in a life like that. I'm gonna do that so I understand it. There's a lot of things that we do in other lives that sometimes, and this is where karma kind of comes into play, where we create, and it's not like someone, I don't believe, just says, this is what you have to experience. It's our higher self, ourselves go, no, I want to experience this. I can't believe that's how I behaved. I can't believe I was that petty. I can't believe I was that mean to that person that was an invalid or crippled or in a wheelchair or whatever. I can't believe I was that insensitive. And so you might choose to understand that from a very first-person perspective. And so, yes, does it suck? Absolutely. Can you change it? I don't think so. And I think it sucks that there's bad things that some of us experience. There's no question about that. So in the case of when you're at a situation in your life where maybe something can't be changed, We chose to do it for whatever reason. And this is in our life. I feel like in a lot of cases, it's sort of difficult to try to change that. It's almost like it was chosen for me or chosen by myself, whatever. So I think acknowledging some of the aspects of our lives, all of us, that maybe are inferior to some other person in some other way, right? We all have our things. We all have our little weirdnesses. We all have our little problems. We all have our foibles. We all have our skeletons. We all have some form of degradation, right? We've all got places where we've been less than good. Some of us have some really extenuating additional things that have been placed on ourselves. I think ultimately in the big picture, we're trying to always find the brighter side of life in these moments. I mean, certainly anyone that's ever been in a position where they have been able to be an example to others, and that's really what happens when you're put in that position of having some sort of thing that's affected you, being in a wheelchair, maybe losing legs. Like there's the runners with the blade things now, right, that are becoming really popular. Like there's this new concept of, yeah, I may have some inabilities like compared to you, but look at this, I can actually still do things, and it's fantastic. So things, of course, are progressing, and I think manifesting power is creating some of that technology and is bringing that along, and I think will even possibly provide my friend the ability to walk, maybe in some form of machinery, right? Assisted, probably. But at least now he's mobile, right? He's not, he can bend down maybe and pick things up if he has to, right? His arms still work. He can still, right? Like, so instead of being in a chair, having something that's actually maybe walking with your legs, like assisting your legs. So even now your legs are somewhat getting exercise. So the atrophy that tends to happen to individuals that sit in a chair for years, the problems you have with bed sores now, like some of these things will change. You're still, I guess, paralyzed when but don't get me wrong. You're still in bed. You can't, it's hard to, you don't move around the same. It's a very interesting thing. So a lot of us have these problems where, we were born with them. So that's one thing. Manifesting, I don't think, is going to fix that. It can make it better. It can enhance it. It can make life better around it. It can be good in spite of it. I think law of attraction plays around it from that vantage point. But can I law of attraction my way out of a wheelchair? Not in his case especially. I mean, not until technology catches up. I mean, we get to Star Trek generation technology, sure, right? Like, I mean, who knows where that is? Maybe that's 100 years, 50 years, 20 years. Who knows? 100, I don't know when someone's going to finally magically figure out the phaser thing that goes, and now all of a sudden I know you're all healthy. It's like, whoa, you just zapped me into health. Oh, right? Like, that'd be cool. Don't know if we got that yet, but who knows? Maybe it's right around the corner. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So again, that's where I see that difference. There are certain things we can't change. But how we react with that, how we live with that, how we deal with that, how we share ourselves even in spite of that, how we still try to manifest things that maybe benefit whatever ailments we particularly have or help us become more with it. But certainly, it's not something that I think is able to be just changed with manifesting this whole us pushed out, like that's going to get my friend out of his wheelchair. I know some are going to debate that. I think it's sort of evidence of what the mass and majority of people believe, because again, that law of confusion is more people start to understand that certain things are possible, then yes, we start to expand that consciousness, and now all of a sudden maybe people can float relative to others. Maybe that's kind of what hoverboards are now, right? Like that's our transgression towards that, and that's getting that higher number of people believing that you can float. We're getting higher numbers of people to believe that no matter how injured you are, there's ways to repair it. Once we get enough people to that level of thinking, then that changes the overall and overarching consciousness of the planet, changes the way the group think is. And that law of confusion gets bumped up a notch. So as more and more of us kind of wake up to the bigger picture, maybe, I don't know what to call it, as that happens, you're going to start to notice that people are going to come with you. And you won't realize it, but most likely you're the cause. as we step it up, there's people that are coming in our wake, people that will follow. Maybe not even just people that are close to you. Maybe not just your specific person, but people in general around you, oddly. It's interesting to see how these things play out, but it is powerful. So, I don't know. Wanted to do the crazy topic. I know it's crazy. Hope I don't offend too many. Hope I didn't lose too many subscribers. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, Dan Radio Style.